Welcome back to the Azura Game Club, home of the Bad Girl Coven. I'm your Coven leader, Emily, and today we're talking about Dragon Quest VIII. Everything is great. I know I'm late, but it's Dragon Quest VIII. Now, if you haven't been following, we've been streaming this game for like weeks now. And I've been obsessively playing it, as I do, because I love Dragon Quest VIII. Dragon Quest VIII is one of my favorite all-time games. Number 6, I believe, on my all-time games list. I'm not going to wear this the whole video, but you get the idea. Even that's a little bit better, but... Okay, I'm going to put this here. This here. Off to a great start. Anyway, I've been streaming this. I forgot how much I really enjoyed Dragon Quest VIII overall. I mean, I didn't forget. This game has been a classic game to me ever since, you know, I first picked it up in 2005. And I was a big fan of Dragon Quest. I've chronicled it in all my other videos there, and this was the one I was always building up to, because this is the gold standard of Dragon Quest games. This is the best Dragon Quest game. I know a lot of people like Dragon Quest XI. I think we did a review on that a long time ago, and I like Dragon Quest XI a lot. I really do, but this game is so much better than Dragon Quest XI because it has so much more personality than Dragon Quest XI. In terms of everything is just more in depth. You know, the alchemy pot feels like such a big thing, you know? I mean, I know it's supposed to be like a side thing to the game, but it is so integral to the heart of why this game stands out so much. The alchemy pot informs all of the other great elements about the game. It makes you want to explore this world that's, you know, expansive. And not in the sense of an open world, because it's not necessarily that. It is open in a sense. It has little open areas, but overall it's somewhat linear. But then when you get stuff like the boat and like Imperia, like in most Dragon Quest games, there's lots of little things to find after that. In a lot of the other games, it's just a couple of things. Here, it's like, every time you get, like, the boat opens up the whole world. And then Imperia, there's, like, a lot of little islands and stuff that you've, like, noticed, or, like, high places that you couldn't get to. And now you can get to them. And there's all sorts of amazing treasures and stuff there. And that's the core of the game. I mean, it's a great game, and it has a lot more going on to it than this, but everything revolves around finding items. Items drag you forward, or drive you forward, and items are all throughout the overworld, right? So you want to explore the overworld, not only for items, but you also want to explore the overworld for the infamous monsters, which we'll talk about in a little bit here. But the items, because then every time you find a new item, and in the towns and stuff too, you explore every nook and cranny of a town, because you have to find those, and the mini-medals, which get you a bunch of great items, and sometimes unique items, that you can only get through the mini-medals, that lead to some of the best weapons, and some of the best gear, and some of the best items. So it's always such, like, an important thing to find all of these mini-medals, and, you know, they're just kind of scattered throughout the world, and they can just be in any random chest or pot or whatever, or in a very significant location. You have to look everywhere for these things, and I did find all of the ones that I needed up until you get the second to last item, and the rest I think are in the post-game. So not to mention, there's also an awesome post-game that we still have to dive into, and I haven't done that since high school. And there's also the 3DS version, which adds a lot of stuff, and might be some people's preferred way to play. You get 2 new characters via Red and Mori. and new items and more items and stuff. And it's all sorts of new features and all sorts of stuff, and like an extra dungeon in the post game and whatnot. And this is a great version of Dragon Quest VIII. You can see the monsters and stuff on the overworld. And the alchemy pot is always the ultimate alchemy pot, where it just basically makes the items right away. I really like this version of the game, but playing it as a handheld game is just not my preferred experience with Dragon Quest VIII. I will take the flaws of the PS2 version, I mean, I think the biggest flaw that I have is the alchemy pot wait times, you know? I mean, they're just a little bit long sometimes, and I don't mind waiting because there's that anticipation, and you're doing other stuff, and then all of a sudden you hear this ding, and you're like, oh my god, I gotta stop everything because I got my item is ready finally. And you don't get a lot of that if you just get the stuff right away, right? So I think that should definitely be like an upgrade, but like, I don't know, you should get that like halfway through the game or something, or like most of the way through the game. By the time you get it in the post game, it's like, what am I gonna make still? I mean, there's some things I need to make still, but you know, it just doesn't feel quite as good. And maybe it will, I don't know. Point being, I really like the alchemy pot because it informs all of the other elements of exploration in the game. You want to look around for these items to make the newest best thing, and you could sometimes make items that you were not intended. I mean, not that you weren't intended to make the items this early in the game or whatever, but like sometimes you can make items a lot earlier than you were intended to, or if you just get lucky with like a good drop from an enemy or something, which like that's very lucky. But like, I got a Titan belt like really early on, and I'm like, okay, well, I can use this to make this, you know, like, I don't know, stuff like that. If you're really paying attention, or if you're like really paying attention to the guide, which like, if you're gonna play this game, this guide is very, very, very helpful. I don't know how much it goes for these days, but it comes with this map. There's all the spells and stuff, but what's really handy is this. Now that's all the infamous monsters there, but what you really want it for, sorry, there's like 14 different ways to fold this thing, is this. That'll show you where all of the treasure chests throughout the world are, and that'll really help your alchemy game. And so, like, like most RPGs have this element of you buy stuff in a town, and you do that in this game too, but exploring towns and stuff, you sometimes find really rare items. Like, the perfect example is like, there's this random well out near this desert, and you pull this crown off this king slime who's been stuck down in there, and you get this slime crown, one of like 2 in the game that you can get outside of like insanely rare odds of 1 in 256 from like a metal king slime or king slime, you know. And I've never even this playthrough got like another slime crown, like a 3rd one. You can also get one in Tryon Gully, which is like very late into the game. But getting that is super awesome, and you use it for some really great items. Or like the skull crown that you can make into the sun crown, which you can use to make this thing called the tambourine attention. And you can get 3 of them in the 3DS version, but in the PS2 version you can only get 2 of them, and 1 of them is in the post game. But the tambourine attention raises your tension levels for everyone by 1 level, which is super insanely good. So that's another thing they added too, was psyching up and tension levels, which is a really good mechanic. So you can every turn kind of psych yourself up, and then you spend like 2 or 3 or 4 turns if you really want to try for 100%. People don't realize psych up, you know, and you do insane damage with that. Like the bosses in this game And I'm not saying that the game is easy. I know what I'm doing, so I have a lot of prep work that I do, and I'm always a little bit ahead of the game. But the bosses in this game are, like, really easy if you know what you're doing, you know? And not to say that there's no challenge, because they definitely do a lot of damage and give you a run for your money, and they have, like, annoying shit like the enveloping wave, where it just takes away all of your psych levels and all of the buffs and stuff that you've done. Fucking hate that. Or fucking underpants dance by the little woo, 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 guys, like that fucking shit. And oh my god, this is so annoying. Or like they like put you to sleep, or like, you know, that kind of shit. I fucking hate that stuff. Like knocking you over is like the worst effect. Like sleep you can, you know, do something about, but anyway, sorry. So the alchemy pot, it's so good. It's such a great thing. You can combine up to 3 items together, and you know, when you don't have the guide necessarily, like in the guide it'll tell you all this stuff, and I found it really fun to have the guide and be like looking through. It's like, well, how do I make this thing? Okay, I can use this to make this to make this. Like, every time I would find, like, a new item, I'd be, like, excited, and I'd go in there and, like, look to see what I could make with it, or if I could just sell it, or, like, what was the purpose of this item, and that kind of excitement. You just don't get that in games these days. So that's really fun and really cool as an aspect of the game. And that's just, like, one little... I mean, not little. It is a big aspect to the game, because it informs a lot of the other really good and charming aspects of the rest of the game, and it really encourages you to explore. And not only that, but like the world is such a cool world, and there's lots of little secrets everywhere to find, and little secret areas and stuff to explore for, or like just chests like up the most off-beaten path in the overworld, which is super cool, or like in dungeons and stuff. And the dungeons in this game are actually pretty good, you know. They're very like well thought out, in my opinion. And sometimes they even have like Zelda-esque like puzzle elements, and I think that's really cool as well. What else? So yeah, so I like all of that. I know the combat is a bit basic. It is what it is. It's a turn-based RPG, and you know, you don't necessarily have like the automatic battle of like a Persona 4 system, and that does get a little bit tedious. It goes a little bit slow sometimes, but there's a lot of things for combat, and a lot of depth to your upgrading system. Like the skill point system is a big innovation of this game as well. And a lot of these things got added in later to like the remakes of the older games and whatnot. But that all kind of like started here as far as I'm concerned. I mean, maybe like 7 did it. I don't know. But this game did it the best in my opinion. So yeah, so right, so it's just leveling up your different skill points, and there's like 5 or 6 different like branches you can go off on like each character, and like there's valuable stuff in all of them, you know, for the most part. I mean, some of them is like, okay, yeah, maybe not, but and it just depends on what you want to use as your play style. Like, I kind of missed out. Like, pro tip, if you're gonna do the post-game stuff, I would recommend putting some points into swords for Angelo and the hero, and then also Jessica's knives skill, at least getting it to level 30, so that you can get the ability to give her swords, so that you can get like the Falcon Slash ability and whatnot, which is supposedly going to be very handy and like the post-game stuff, because then you get to attack 4 times if you have the Falcon Blade, or the Uber Falcon Blade. In my case, I have 2 of those, and then so that's going to be really handy later. So yeah, you want to level up that, but that's not like you can level up other stuff. There's so many other ones you want to level up too. Like for Jessica, you want to definitely get like stabs to level 100, and Angelo, similarly, I think has, because you learn Kasing, which is the like ultimate like revival spell for Jessica and everyone really, but you learn that with her at level 100 there, and she doesn't really have a lot of other healing abilities, so that's really cool that you can get that for her. Another thing I did really early on is I gave everyone Staffs of Resurrection that I was able to get by grinding out some, I think the rune staffs were the thing I needed from the casino area. I was able to grind all that out and get those in order to make Staffs of Resurrection, instead of having to buy them in Triangoli like at the very end of the game. I made those like a lot earlier, like right before we went to fight Dolmegus. Like all of us had resurrection staffs. So then at any point in the game, any one of us can revive anybody else. And then as soon as I was able to make like a Sage's Stone, I made that. And then you get another one near the end of the game in one of the last dungeons there. So having two of those means that you basically have a multi-heal. And I give it to Jessica and Angela, or I'm sorry, Yangus, because, you know, they don't normally have like healing abilities that are any good. So, you know, outside of like Kazing for Jessica, but like just healing abilities, like not reviving abilities, but like healing abilities. So not only did everyone have the ability to resurrect people, but they also all had, you know, like most of them had some kind of ability to heal. I mean, they all did, because Angelo had the multi-heal, and the hero had the omni-heal, which fully puts everyone back to full health or whatnot. So that's really good. So yeah, so there's, like, you can see there's a lot of depth there to the skills, and you kind of have to map out, like, okay, I want this move, so I need to put my points into this, you know, and all of that stuff. And so you're paying attention to that, and then the alchemy pot stuff, and then there's like, once you get to like Mori, you have like the best side quest there, like, once you get to like right before Pick'em there, is the infamous monsters, and then you go out, I mean, you can't really start it until you get to Trodain, because the slime is there, but then you go out and you collect these 3 monsters, and then you get to like do a monster arena, and then you get the ability to like have these monsters as like awesome teams of like 3 monsters, and you get 2 teams, and you can use them out in the world, like against bosses and stuff, and they do so much damage later on in the game. Like Rapthorn at the end there has like 5640 health or something. I was down to like 3,800 or something by the time like my monsters had gone away. It might have been like 3,000. I think it was actually sub 3,000 at that point. It was a lot. Like, they took down a ton of damage onto this guy, who's the final fucking boss of the game. And you know, that's like maybe why some of the other bosses weren't necessarily that hard, because I have all these fucking like awesome monsters. And a lot of that is on me too, because I really like pushed in the monster arena to get ahead. Like, I was at rank B, like really early on. Like, I don't even think, where was I? I didn't even think I had gone to Baccarat yet, and I was already at rank B, you know. Like, as soon as I got the ship, was like rank B, and I even tried to do rank B like early on, and it didn't really work out. Yeah, you basically have to get to the ruins, the dark ruins, to kind of make that happen, or like beat the dark runes, because then you can get a couple more there. So the infamous monsters, anyway, that was another thing I was gonna say. They are the monsters that you can see in the overworld. In the 3DS version, it's just like they're just amongst the other monsters. But so that's really cool, because they're just out there and you see them in the overworld and you're like, oh, what's that monster? Like, why is that one different? And you can fight these monsters, then you can recruit these monsters, and that's cool, because a lot of these good monsters are hidden away, and you have to seek them out in the world. It's another aspect to get you to explore this awesome world. The game itself looks so good, too. It's like sort of a cartoony anime aesthetic, you know, and it's so wonderful and colorful. And like all the characters and their moves are like so well designed, and like the monsters are so cool. You know, I mean, that's Dragon Quest for you. Like the Akira Toriyama art style definitely comes through in the game. You know, like you feel like the older games, it's like pixels and whatnot, but like this is like fully 3D, the first like fully 3D like big Dragon Quest game. This is 2005, and these visuals still hold up like tremendously well. As long as, you know, you have like a better resolution to it. Like I noticed that in some of the cutscenes, the resolution kind of takes a dip because it's like rendered cutscenes, I'm sure, or whatever. Like, kind of like, what was that? There was a different game where that happened too, where like the quality dropped with the cutscenes because you're trying to. I don't remember. Anyway, yeah. So, like, the alchemy pod is so cool because you're constantly upgrading your weapons and stuff, right? And you want the newest, coolest weapon or item that does, like, such a certain cool thing, like, has, like, a cool effect, and you can just make all sorts of cool stuff, and that's what's so great about it. And to find those items, you explore the world, and it's just really exciting because there's like so many good reasons to explore the world. You explore the world for the infamous monsters, for the alchemy pot stuff. You know, you explore it just because it's fun to explore. You never know what kind of... And, you know, you have to explore to progress as well, but, like, you don't have to get to every nook and cranny. There's stuff, like, in the game that I didn't even... Not like I didn't know about until this time. I mean, I think I learned something this time. I can't remember what it was. But, like, I remember, like, a couple of playthroughs through this game. I don't know if I had ever, like, beaten it at that point. I think I was, like, on my run to beat it at that point. But, like, I like, was looking in the guide, and it was, like, Uncharted Island or something on the map. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then I, like, go and find it. And I'm like... My god, there's an island out here I've never set foot on, and, like, this is, like, new Dragon Quest 8 content, like, holy shit, you know, and I think I had that same experience with the Dracovian Trials. For some reason, even when I beat the game, I didn't stay till the post-credits, or I didn't understand what that meant, you know, or whatever, and then eventually I figured out, oh, hey, there's a post-game in this game, and it was like, there's a post-game to this game? What? Like... Holy shit, like, what the fuck? And then, like, there's stuff in the guide that even alludes to it that says, like, unknown or whatever. And I never really knew what that meant until, like, I kind of looked into it. And then I'm like, oh shit, there's a post-game, you know? Like, that's fucking crazy. Like, so not only, like, the world is awesome, and then... The like item system is awesome, the alchemy pod is awesome, right? But like the story and the characters are awesome too. Like, I'm not gonna say it's like Persona levels of depth, but like it's a good fantasy story, and you definitely feel it at some points. Like Dolmegus or like Rapthorn or whatever is going around killing these heirs to the sages. Spoilers for Dragon Quest VIII, by the way. And some of those guys are, like, really genuinely nice. I think they're pretty much all genuinely, like, really nice people. Aside from, like, the Baccarat guy who's just, like, a greedy like casino head dude or whatever. But like, I don't know, you feel that a little bit when Cash and Gary like go through the dungeon and they see their ancestor, like a little bit. But like Marta and like friggin' the abbot and like David especially, like those deaths hit kind of hard, you know? Like those are sad moments in this game, and I think I definitely would have like felt that a little bit more had I not played this game like a bunch of times before. And I did feel it this time. The abbot is especially like a really sad moment, like I don't want to say near the beginning of the game, but it is kind of early on in the game. And that's like the first real emotional gut punch. It's like raining and everyone is like standing at his funeral like crying and stuff, and you're just like, Jesus Christ, I didn't know this game was gonna go here, you know. So I feel like a lot of those kind of ones, those kind of hit hard. So there is like an emotional level, and the music too, especially when you go to like Trodain, especially is like my top one. And you hear that music, you know, the memories of yesterday or whatever the fuck the song is called. That one is, it just hits you really hard. Like that whole area, it's sad to see like how cursed it's gotten, and like all of these people like just stuck here, you know. And this is the reason we're going on this journey, is to like cure the king and the princess of their curse and get back the scepter and all of that. And so when you see that, you get to see Trodain, like your former kingdom, where you were, you know, where you used to live and everything, they're just ruined. And it's got like that sad music, like that it's like this sad ass music, and it's so, you just feel that so much, you know. You feel me on this? I feel that so much. The game really knows how to get you emotionally, you know. And I'm not saying it's like a super like sob heavy game or something, or like the characters are like the deepest characters ever, but like, I don't know, I feel it, even if it's a simple story. And, like, you know, the characters aren't, like, you know, I don't know, fucking Game of Thrones or something. You know, I mean, I don't even know if that's a great example, but, like, maybe they're not Persona 4 levels, but, you know, like, I like these characters. I like this story. Obviously, like, Jessica's my favorite. You know, I always have to go for the girl, right? But, like, no, I think she has, like, a really genuinely good story. She's trying to avenge her brother's death there, who is one of the descendants of the sages and whatnot. Yeah, even like the Alistair stuff. Some of that was kind of sad too. I remember that for sure. But you know, I don't know. It's just so nice, and she's very lovable. But she can also be like a really fiery personality and whatnot. And Jessica's great, you know. Jessica's great. Angelo, you know, he's the suave, like, playboy kind, but, like, even his story has some, like, really emotional stuff, between him and his brother, there. Like, I even thought, like, a lot of that was well done, like, when he's talking to Trode about, like, his history and stuff. Like, moments like that, like, really get you. Oh, or, like, the King of Escantha, like, where you have to go and get the kind of memory of his wife, with, like, the Dreamer's Peak. And I really love that, poet, harp-playing guy. I don't remember his name, but, like, from the Dream World. Like, that concept of, like, this dream world. And, like, you know, there's, like, the gates that you, like, can go into, and they get, like, spawned from the moon shadow world or whatever. Like, I love that place. I love the aesthetic there. I love the idea of that. That's, like, so inspirational to me. A lot of these, like, aspects of Dragon Quest VIII are really influential and inspirational to my fiction writing, you know? This is what I feel like a fiction, sort of, fantasy, that's what I was trying to say, like a fantasy world is like. It's like Dragon Quest VIII. That's what an RPG fantasy world should be like, is this world, you know, and this aesthetic and these characters. is just like that iconic version of that for me. And this music is so fucking good. This is the greatest Dragon Quest soundtrack, one of the greatest RPG soundtracks of all time, maybe the greatest RPG soundtrack of all time. I don't know. I'm really partial to Persona 4, but goddamn if this isn't... if we're talking just like straight up turn-based fantasy RPGs, this is it. This is the best soundtrack to a fantasy RPG of all time. And I don't care. You come at me with Final Fantasy 7, maybe Final Fantasy 6. That's a pretty good one. But like, hot damn. This soundtrack is really good. Like Golden Sun. I don't know. There's some good soundtracks out there. It's a high bar, and that's why I'm saying it, damn it. This is fucking great. It's the best soundtrack. There's so many good songs. I just love it. This song is awesome. So many good songs. Anyways, it's iconic. It's a great soundtrack. Love the soundtrack. I used to listen to it all the time. I still listen to it sometimes when I'm like writing and stuff. Love it. Love it. Such a good soundtrack. What else? Let's see. I'm just listening to the soundtrack. It's so good. I talked about the world and the dungeons are great and the characters are awesome. And there's a lot of memorable characters throughout like these little storylines throughout the world too. And I really like that, is that like there's an overall storyline, but you get tangled into these littler storylines as you go through these towns, and there's so many of those, and a lot of them are so memorable. Like I was saying, like the King of Ascantha is a really good one. The Argonia stuff is pretty good. You have like the stuff with Marta and like the grotto and all of that is a good one. I like the tower, you know, where you have to climb up there and tell that guy, like, hey, go hang out with your family. Stonemason guy, like, in Arcadia there. That's a good one. A lot of the earlier ones, too, are good. I don't know. They're, like, most of the towns are really memorable. Like, the Abbot stuff with the Abbey and all of that. And having to go through that, like, ruined version of the Abbey, that's pretty cool. That's iconic stuff, you know, too. Also, and that's really what the game is to me, is, like, it's so many iconic areas, and, like, I know it's a really long game, but, like, you don't feel it. I just wanted to keep playing this game. There was nothing that could tear me away from it, you know? I don't do that with games anymore that much, you know? I've kind of set games to the side because I know they take a lot of time. And this is the song, by the way. Oh god, it's so good. It's so good. Hearing this intro day, and it was just, yeah, it was crazy. What was I even saying? Yeah, I know, the length. It sounds like a lot, you know, like, I did it in 66 hours this time. I mean, I'm good. I'm good at this game, and I spent a lot of time doing a lot of extra stuff. So maybe that means it can be done in, like, 50 hours or something. I used to spend, like, 100 hours on this game, you know, or something, and just, like, running around in the world and stuff, and, like, I just love the act of playing this game. Even if I'm just, like, grinding levels, it can be boring, but I'm not feeling that, you know, necessarily. I just want to keep grinding levels because I know I'm working towards a bigger goal. And that's why it kind of makes it like the perfect, like, lazy stream kind of game for me. And I was hoping it would be that, and it was that, and it was the perfect excuse to get me to go through the game again. And as soon as I started, I couldn't really stop, you know, but it took me a couple of years to start, is the thing, because I just knew it was going to be a time commitment. But, like, it's one of those games like Persona 4 or like any of my favorite games where you shouldn't necessarily worry so much about the time commitment. I mean, yes, you know, there's stuff in real life you got to worry about and all that. But I'm glad that I was able to just kind of like get into it and then just go. Because then as soon as I was into it, that's it. It had its hooks in me. And like I would say like it pretty much as soon as you get past like that first little continent there, things start to really get like really good, you know? Because you're just on the cusp of like some really good little areas like I said, like a Scantha is a really good one, and then right after that is like the monster arena, and then like just a little bit after that is like the desert that leads to Trodain, which is like an awesome area, and you know, if you're not feeling it by that point, I don't know what to tell you. Like yeah. Oh, and then another thing. Sorry, I want to go back to the item thing. Because, like, I didn't really explain this either. Like, you explore, but then there's stuff you can't necessarily always get in these areas. Like, you see it behind, like a barred, you know, like, jail cell looking sort of, like, door or something. And you're like, well, how do I get that? There's treasure chests behind there. I want those, you know? And you have to get the ultimate key to get those. And then some chests are locked, and you have to get like the thieves key or like the magic key. And you get these at certain points in the game. And then as soon as you get those, you're like, oh, now I have to go back through the world again. And like I'm excited to like go back and like find these older chests and like get the items inside of them and stuff. And so that's really cool. Especially when you get the ultimate chest, there's a lot of shit you can do, and then you get all of this stuff, and you got all these new alchemy things that you can do, and get some really end game like level content of and items there. So yeah. So like. I don't know. I love the game, you know? I mean, there's so many good, awesome things to say about it. There's so much side content that's great. I briefly mentioned the casino. What I want to talk about is also Dodgy Dave, which, don't make the mistake I did. You can't get more of the limited items if you do Dodgy Dave, like, multiple times. All he does is pay you money. So I thought I could get multiple happy hats in order to make multiple elevating shoes, so that we'd all be gaining XP while we walked around, and then I would just like walk around in a town or something and just level grind that way. But it doesn't work like that. You can get elevating shoes from certain enemies, but then that's a pain in the ass, so you got to go through that process. So they're like 1 in 256 on that, which... Let me tell you, the odds aren't very good, because I killed like probably like 400 frickin' ice queens, and the odds were supposed to be 1 in 64 to get the fishnet stockings, which I didn't even need, by the way, because I couldn't get happy hats to combine with the fishnet stockings to get the elevating shoes. So anyway, but what was I saying with that? What was I trying to say? I got off track. Oh, Dodgy Dave, that's a pretty cool side quest, too. You make up a bunch of stuff, alchemy pot. Kind of like the Margaret, like social link in Persona 4, where you fuse her a bunch of personas. Here you like fuse him different items that you can get at different points in the game there. So that's really cool. So it's kind of like a game-long side quest. And then it eventually gives you Yangus's best shield, which is the Big Boss shield, which is funny. It's a funny name because, like, Metal Gear Solid, but, like, it has nothing to do with Metal Gear Solid, obviously, so. Yeah, Square Enix and Level 5. I mean, they blew out of the park on this one. This is great. So, yeah, lots of good side content. The casino, where if you want Jessica's best item, the Gringham Whip. You're gonna need to get that. There's like the Falcon Blades at the casino that you need to get if you want to like really power level in like the Howling Hills area near Arcadia there once you get Imperia. And so like that's a thing. And you know, your odds, it's you don't have great odds, but like when I was in Pick'em, I played like the bingo game, and that was fun. And then, you know, the slots are the slots, and maybe you're better at roulette or something. It's like the ultimate gamble in this game, but like, you know, apparently there's good odds on it if you can like figure out how to do it. But I just did the slot machines, and I eventually got it. A lot like in my Dragon Quest V. I remember I got that by doing slot machines for several, you know, hours of that, and I definitely did like a few different streams here of slot machines, and then we'd have to do more slot machines because I realized I needed to go back and get like the Falcon Blades or like the Saint's Ashes or whatever, and I don't mind locking stuff like that behind like a gambling casino thing, but you know, it breaks up the gameplay, and it's something different, and that's nice. You know, it's a little there's a lot of variety to the content here. You're always constantly thinking about like all these different aspects, like the casino, the infamous monsters, the monster arena. You're planning out your next monster arena thing while it's also like planning what you're gonna put next in the alchemy pot, or like, okay, well, I'm gonna get this item in this town, but in the meantime I want to get all the items that I need to also get to make this thing, because I want this thing when I get to this town. You're always constantly like planning stuff and like really focusing on all these different things, and it's just really fun and cool to like have that variety and all these aspects to the game. Really makes it cool, you know, and while you're exploring, you're thinking about all of these things, and there's just so much to the game, and I really like that. But it's not like overwhelming either, and it's all very well designed, I feel like. You know, like I said, aside from like maybe the alchemy pot could like go a little faster or whatever, but like that's like the one thing, or like just things go faster, like the battles or the alchemy pot would go like a little bit faster, like sort of thing might be my only complaint. But I'm just so used to like the modern, like, and especially emulation, like zooming through things, and that's probably on me more so than it is on the game. So but I still don't mind all of that. I mean, you know, I play like the original Dragon Quest or Dragon Warrior, like even the NES version, and that's so much more tedious than this. I think this is a very well refined system of like those older games. It is like the perfection of those older systems for sure. And you know, obviously there's room to grow for the future or whatnot, and I'm sure they did a lot of that in Dragon Quest XI. I can barely remember at this point. I remember it being good. I just remember it not being as good as this game. And that's the thing, is that this is the gold standard of Dragon Quest games that every other Dragon Quest game kind of has to live up to now. There's like the Saber Cat, you know, like that you can ride around. That's pretty cool. That's a big game changer. There's like the little storyline where you have to go and like give the item to the Saber Cat, who like has been wandering around this tree for like all this time, you know, like decades, and he finally realizes that he's like dead, and he has to like go on to the afterlife. And it's like, oh, that's really sad, you know, like stuff like that. There's a lot of little like emotional moments in the game like that. I think it was really cool, and just like a lot of little things you can do throughout towns, and just like all sorts of cool stuff. Oh, also, if you're not using the guide, there's recipes in all of the bookcases or whatever, so you want to explore those too. So that's just one more aspect of even exploring towns and stuff is looking at bookcases to get like new alchemy pot recipes, or like they'll give you a hint on how to make something. They'll be like, okay, you need this item and maybe this other thing that it's like, ooh, something blue or something. I'm just coming up with some random example. You know, it'll kind of give you a hint to like what you need, and so you could try different things, and that's really a cool aspect as well of the game. Oh, I should have brought down the figures. I have the figures of the 4 main characters there, sitting over there. Had those for like years now. Yeah. So I don't know. There's just so many good things about the game, you know, and I think all of it is just done like super well, and I just love it. It's really iconic to me. Playing it is a lot of fun. Going through the dungeons and like the overworld and stuff is super cool, and messing around with the alchemy pod is just like so much fun. It's like, and the storyline's great, and just like all the side content and like the characters and just everything about it, like planning everything out is so cool, and finding all of the stuff, and like I love the monster arena. I know I've said it, but like I genuinely think that's one of the best side quests in like any game ever. Is like you find all of these monsters in the overworld, and they keep giving you better and better rewards, like giving you more teams, and then you can call your teams out into battles and stuff, and like you get to go up against like characters from Dragon Quest IV in the S rank, like, and Mori is just great, and oh my god, here's what I found out this time, is that if you play as Jessica, which I did this time, I pretty much played as Jessica whenever the fuck I could. If you play as Jessica, Mori will call you, like, Championa, and, what does he say, Bimba, or something like that. It's like, he usually calls you Ragazzo, or whatever, but, like, he has a different dialogue about Jessica! There's so many there's, like, other people who do it, too, like other people who have unique dialogue because you're Jessica, like stuff like that, and there's cutscenes too. There's like unique cutscene stuff, like where it should be the hero, and I'm sure they have it for all 4 characters, but like they have it for Jessica too, and I love Jessica, and I love being Jessica, but like that level of detail is insane because there's so many things in this game, and it's not always like that, you know. In a lot of the main scenes, you have to be the hero, as the character. There's a lot of those scenes that Jessica is, like, can be the main character in, and it's just like, what the fuck? Like, I never knew about this stuff. Like, it's just crazy. It's crazy to me, you know? Like, it just is. That was so fun to play as Jessica, and the fact that they let you do that is just great, you know? So good. I love that. So kind of like how I love playing as, like, Teddy in Persona 4 and then throwing him in the Alice costume, you know, for my trans femme Teddy, like, headcanons or whatever, so, I don't know. I just, stuff like that is so cool. There's, like, so many details like that in the game, and just, like, so much awesome stuff, and so much depth to the game. I'm not just gonna, like, talk about every little area in the game. So I did a brief overview, right? Like, you should play the game. If you haven't played the game, you should play the game. And it's like, it's such a good game, you know? I can't speak highly enough of the game. It's the best Dragon Quest game. It's probably the best turn-based fantasy RPG of all time that I've ever played. The only one, even in an RPG fashion, that I hold highly above it is Persona 4. And, I mean, even there's some even aspects of this game that I would probably say are better than Persona 4. But, you know, I just really love Persona 4 for its, like, emotional storyline, and like there's a lot of depth in Persona 4. There's like so much shit there, like so much shit I don't even do sometimes, and like I don't know, I just really love that game too. I think that's it's a game also that has its flaws, but I mean, considering how few flaws I feel like this game has, it's very impressive. This is definitely my 2 favorite RPGs of all time. Yeah, but it's really good. It's so good. And then there's a banger like post game too, with like all these extra great items, and like, you know, you go and fight all these fucking dragons and shit, and you actually like get these revelations about the hero and whatnot, who like basically has been an unassuming character until this point, and you never really got any like backstory on this character, and I'm so excited to dive into that, you know, because I'm like sitting here thinking like the journey of Dragon Quest VIII is over, but it's far from fucking over. We still have the Dragovian Trials, so like tune in for that. I know some people have been watching the like streams after the fact of on Twitch there, but like definitely go and like, I have like 7 followers now, but definitely go and subscribe or like follow to my Twitch page there. I'm trying to stream this game mostly on Fridays and stuff. Thursday is kind of we did Banjo-Kazooie, and now we're doing Ocarina of Time Master Quest, and I'll probably end up doing a video about that too, because I really am enjoying Ocarina of Time Master Quest as well. I don't know what I expected from that, but like, it's definitely going really well, you know? It's very cool. So, yes. Maybe I'm a little bit rusty, rusty metal sword, you know? Like, the liquid metal stuff, like the armor, it's all those things are so cool too. Like, so many good items in this stuff, and like, just finding all the best gear and like really optimizing that is just like such a great thing. The storyline is amazing. The music is the best music. The world is so cool. This is the greatest RPG like that I've ever played, like fantasy RPG, I guess, that I've ever played. I love it. Dragon Quest VIII, Journey of the Cursed King, you know, like, it's perfect. It was perfect. Everything about it was I don't remember the joke. Anyway, you know, to me, I don't care about those little flaws. It's fucking perfect, you know? I love this game. The minute I start playing it, you know, or like, I don't know, once I really start getting into it, like within a few hours, it definitely has its hooks in me, and I cannot stop playing it. I just get so enveloped in the world and the characters and the items, and I really get into like maximizing my potential in the world and stuff, and like just indulging myself in all of the aspects of the game, you know, all the side content too, with like the monster arena and like all of that stuff just makes me so excited, and I love that stuff, and I love everything about the game. It's just so good. The alchemy pot is such an amazing addition to the game. I'm not gonna say that that's just like a tiny thing, because it's so integral to you looking around the world and exploring for stuff. And they added like the mini metal stuff. Like, I think like the mini metal stuff was in earlier games, yeah, but like here it's like super important to like maximizing the content and stuff. Like, all of that side content is just so memorable and impactful to the overall package of Dragon Quest VIII. And I adore the main quest as well, but the game just shines so much more because there's so much more beyond the main quest to indulge in. Maybe not to the extent of like nowadays, but it's the perfect amount. It's not bloated with all of this unnecessary stuff. It's not like these side quests of like, oh, go kill this enemy 40 times or something. No, it's like content you genuinely want to do, and that's why it's cool, you know? It's because you actually care about it. So, yeah, I don't know. I just really love this game. I love everything about it. The characters, the world, the aesthetic. It's just legendary. Like, there's so many... Like, it's like humorous sometimes, too. I do think so. But there's also a lot of heart and a lot of emotion. And it just really ticks every box of what I look for in an RPG. And I am so glad I picked it up in 2005. You know, I was like a really big fan of Dragon Quest back then. I think I played like the first 3, and I don't think the remakes were out yet, so I think that was kind of it. But then I picked up Dragon Quest 8, and that changed everything. You know, this was such a mind-blowing game for 2005. I mean, it was so far beyond anything that we'd seen at that point. And it's really, like I said, it's still so far beyond anything we have seen until now. I can't think of a game that's as cool and as special, and the world is as unique and like and amazing and iconic as this one, you know, like. And yes, I'm like entirely like 3,000% nostalgic for this game too, but like that's not it. I'm not even really thinking about that. I'm not like nostalgia bombing about it like I would with like something like Persona 4. And even that game has its own great stuff outside of the nostalgia, but like I get really nostalgic about Persona 4. Getting nostalgic wasn't even like barely a part of this experience right now, which is so odd to me. This is such a nostalgic game for me, and at almost no point in this playthrough was I like super like, oh my god, like nostalgia bombing, like, you know, like I probably was feeling that like a little bit, but like it's weird because I love nostalgia, you know, but like it just shows you that that's not what I was focused on. I was focused on having that experience now, and how good the experience still was. You know, like I definitely was remembering, oh, in the past I did this, you know, or like in high school I did this, or whatever, you know, but like the game was still enveloping to me right now, you know, like it's to such a level that I was like thinking about this game at work and like looking stuff up and whatever to like optimize like how I would like build stuff, and I wrote myself notes the other time, you know, a lot of those which ended up being kind of useless with the whole steel sickle scythe thing, which ended up sucking. And it didn't really end up working out for me, but still, like it was on my mind all that time, and that just shows how much I love this game, you know, and how much you could love this game. I swear it still holds up. It's still great. If you like, you know, very traditional turn-based RPG stuff, and I know a lot of people don't really care for that anymore, and it's kind of a dying genre now, and it's really sad, you know, that it is kind of fading out. I mean, I'm not saying it is entirely. I mean, a lot of the content for this genre is like remakes and stuff, or I think Final Fantasy is long past this, taking, even in like 7 and stuff, they were definitely moving away from like the turn-based stuff, and like I don't know, I could never really get on board with like the rest of, I mean, okay, I haven't played like 9 and stuff. I know like everyone's like, oh, that's the one for you, you know, like I would play 9 at some point, I know, but like 6 was really good. 6 was really good. 7 I liked, but I don't think it's as great as like everyone is like sucking its dick to be. You know, obviously 8 is its own can of worms. I'm probably never gonna play it, but like then they just got off the rails, like Final Fantasy 13 and stuff. Anyway, this game is so much better than that, you know, like this is the gold standard of RPGs for me. Like you have to be the best RPG ever in my opinion, Persona 4, you know, you have to be Persona 4 to be better than Dragon Quest 8. Like, that's something. That's insanely, like, crazy that, like, this is like the game that, like, I was so surprised why Persona 4 was so good. Like you really cannot top this game, you know, like, honestly, because, like, if you think about it, think about this, alright? Like, Tomba and Metal Gear Solid, and I guess Metal Gear Solid 4 did come out after this, but, like, I probably didn't finish this game, like, for real until after Metal Gear Solid 4. So, like, to me anyway, other than Persona 4, like I said, that jumped up, you know, like some amount of years after that, in like 2015 there. This game, like, was a steady, like, 4th place on my list for the longest time, and was only ever dethroned by, like, Persona 4, and maybe, like, Majora's Mask now, I think, is, like, 5th place or something. But again, a game I played in, like, 2000, or, like, 2001 or 2 or something. 2002 or 3 I played it in, I think. Like, 2002. Anyway, so, yeah. I love this game. Can you tell? Like, it's my favorite Dragon Quest game. One of my favorite RPGs of all time. My second favorite RPG of all time. My favorite turn-based fantasy RPG of all time. There's so much to love about it. And the journey of the Cursed King is done. But the journey of the rising Dragon Slayer Emily has only begun, you know, so tune in for Twitch for that. I mean, if it isn't clear, I'm giving this game like a 10 out of 10, 100 out of 10. This is such a good game. If you have not played Dragon Quest VIII, I almost would say it's like a perfect starting place for the series. The only problem is, at that point, is when you go back to the older games, like, you're gonna be like, oh, this game is old and sucks balls! You know? Maybe not, because, like, they're doing the remakes and stuff now. I am really, oh my god. I saw Dragon Quest 1 and 2, the HD remake. I am so excited about I like Dragon Quest 3 a lot. Don't get me wrong. Dragon Quest 3 is great. But Dragon Quest 1 and 2, those are my nostalgic jams. And I think those games are really good. And Dragon Quest 2, yeah, I mean, it's got its problems, but I really am so excited to see what they do in a remake of that. Dragon Quest 1, especially, too, is such a great game, and so one of my favorite Dragon Quest games also is the very first one. So, but like 3 and 5 and 4 definitely are up there as well. I wonder if they'll ever do like HD 2D remakes of 5 and like 4. That would be really cool to see. They'll probably do 6 as well, and I'll be like, yeah, whatever. 7. They'll remake 7 again. Like, I don't know. Like, this game is so good that all they had to do was make it look better. I mean, okay, look better. It doesn't look better, but, like, you know, put it on the 3DS and, like, make a couple of additions, and, like, there you go. You have, like, a perfect game that everyone will talk about. I really like this cover, though. I think this cover is very good. I mean, the original cover is fucking iconic. Don't get me wrong. This is amazing. I love that. But I really think this cover for the remake... I'm glad there even was a fucking remake of Dragon Quest VIII. Like, for the longest time, you know, this sort of was just a PS2 game, you know? And they were remaking all the other ones, but, like, we didn't think, like, oh, they're gonna remake Dragon Quest VIII. And then they did. And, like, they added some stuff. I don't know. It's, like, I like this version, but I don't like it being on a handheld. This needs to come to, like, they need to make, like, a definitive reload, Persona 3 reload, even though that's not definitive because it doesn't have, like, the FemC content, but, like, a definitive version sort of that kind of version of this game and like put it out. And like you don't even have to change that much. Just add the new 3DS content onto the old like aesthetic and art style, and just update it to like HD resolution there, and you're all good. You know, that's all I want. You know, just add the other content back in. Maybe it'll be worth playing this again at some point just for that older content. I just, you know, when I played it though, I really liked it, but like I said, it's a handheld game. I can't. The vastness of this, what I was talking about the world and all of that feels so cramped on a handheld. It's the Ocarina of Time 3D problem. I really like Ocarina of Time 3D, but I want to play that on on my TV screen, you know, or like Majora's Mask 3D. I'd prefer they would just fix that one. I mean that wasn't a great, but you know, I prefer to play these games on my TV screen, you know, and if they're on the Switch or something like that, or the Switch 2 in this case, now that it's about to come out or whatnot, that's fine. Like I would enjoy that, but like, you know, they're not, and that's the problem. So, huge fan of Dragon Quest VIII here. You know, love it. 10 out of 10. Would Dragon Quest again, and the journey continues. So, you know, yeah, so stick around. Keep watching the stream. Go check that out. Follow on Twitch or whatnot, and subscribe and like and comment here on YouTube. You know, to join the Bad Girl Coven. And yeah, I love this game. It's perfect. To me, it's such a good game, and you should play it if you haven't played it. In whatever capacity you feel is okay, because I know that like a lot of people love the 3DS version, and that's fine. I'm just a fan of playing things on my TV, so there you go. Anyway, yeah, so never forget magic comes from the heart, and stick around, subscribe for more reviews, underrated games, and streams, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Emily,